and welcome to my Crochet Podcast. I'm Marta and I'm here to chat to you about my finished object and my 5 whips. Two of them actually are knitted whips, but the rest are all crocheted, and I'll focus on the crochet side of things. And I had some happy mail as well, so I'm going to start with the finished object. As you possibly saw if you watched my last podcast episode, it was focusing all on the Scottish Yarn Festival earlier this month. And at the festival I bought a skein of yarn, let's show it the right way around, the skein of yarn which is the brand new The Scottish Yarn Festival yarn. Eva Christie has popped this yarn together. It is from Scottish sheep and it has been spun in Yorkshire. The composition is 80% Shetland, 20% Cheviot, try to say them both at once. And this one, which I have here, is a DK weight. This is all I have left. DK weight, and it was a 100 gram skein. There is also a 4-ply version and it comes in 11 colours, which is really cool. And I decided I was going to crochet a hat and I was going to design a hat. So that's exactly what I did, and it had the idea in my head kind of on the day or two after the festival. I think I began it last Tuesday. I'd finished it by the end of the day Wednesday, and Monday, I believe, I had it all written up and graded in 4 sizes. 4 sizes. And it's now out with testers, so do you want to see? Here we go. Here is my finished beanie. I've called it the Perth beanie because of the festival being in Perth, and a family connection in Perth as well. Mum lived in Perth for most of her childhood, teenage years, so I've called it the Perth beanie, and it has this texture detail around here, not quite the brim, but around the side, I suppose, just plain on top, and then it finishes with front post, back post ribbing. I'll try it on, but I will say hats just look, I don't know if it's just me, hats just look a bit funny on me at the minute without hair sticking out the sides. There, here's what it looks like. I do a little circle and you can see, I hope that showed up. But yeah, it feels nice and snug. I really like it. It's not going to come off on a windy day, but at the same time it's not like so tight it's squeezing in on my head. It feels good on my head, and like I say, it's currently with testers. I've got one person has finished and another couple have started and a few are choosing yarns, so that's all coming together really quickly. I've got a photo shoot booked in this Sunday with my eldest, and that's going to be really cool. I've got some ideas how I'm going to go about that. It will be in Carnoustie, so I'll need to make Carnoustie look like Perth. So it's not going to be a seascape photo shoot. I'll need to be a bit creative because we're not shuttling up to Perth for the day. There's buildings, I guess, against brick backdrops and things, or possibly trees. That would work as well. So there's a couple of options I'm thinking about. And yeah, as soon as that's done, the testing's done, I'll get it tech edited. Will be new pattern release. Woohoo! So, what was I going to say? Have I said everything about the yarn? I picked the colourway Wallace. And actually in my podcast, the Wool Festival one, I didn't read out what it says on it because this is really lovely. It says, slow grown in Scotland, mill spun in Yorkshire, transformed by you. And I just thought those were lovely words on it because, you know, there's just so many things you can do with a skein of yarn or multiple skeins of yarn if you have more, and everyone's going to just come up with something different and transform the yarn. So I really like that little, slightly cheesy, but lovely little saying on the side. Anything else I want to say? This size used 65 grams. I made it in the smallest size, and I managed to make, so this one and the smallest size, which is a child, I managed to make both of them. I rattled it back down again because I didn't really have anyone to give it to, and I decided I would keep it for something else. But I just took the measurements from it and made sure that I took the weight and the height and the circumference, and just noted those. And the other sizes are teen, adult medium, and this is the adult large. I believe that's all I want to say about it just now. It's an intermediate level pattern, and this is Alpine Stitch. I'll be making a tutorial and I will pop that up because I really like the Alpine Stitch. If any of you've made my elm socks, which were in the Cozy Life box number 4, that used the same stitch. And I hadn't used it in anything else, and I really wanted to try it in something just completely different, so that's what I've done. Right, I'm going to take this off now because it's not that cold today. It's looking across at my Echo, it is 14 degrees apparently, so it's not too bad. Yeah, not bad at all. It's at least a bit sunny. My hair going all over there. It's beginning to grow. I'm going to grow it again for the winter, and we'll get some little tufts coming out and hats will look decent again. That's the plan. Right, so my current whips. I'll start with this one since it's staring right at me, and it's in my... I've forgotten the lady's name. Janie Crow. Janie Crow bag. And this, I had to move it. It didn't used to be in this bag. This is my Not So Granny wrap. And just, I guess the weight of yarn hasn't changed, but the shawl or the wrap is just taking up more and more space as air is kind of getting incorporated into it. So I have worked quite a lot on this. Look, I've got to come right back to here. I think the last day I was around here at the top of this pink, and I've done all of this. Considering it takes 15... Oh, am I unravelling? I better not be. No, I've got a stitch marker in. Considering it takes 15 minutes to get from one end to the other, that is quite a bit of work. And I've just done it in 2 or 3 rows at a time generally. I'll just sit and decide I'm going to sit and I'm going to do 2 rows or 3 rows, and I'll just carry on until I get those done. So I'm working this one up in the pink is Fibrespates Scrumptious Lace, and it's 2-ply and it's lovely. This is the colourway Magenta, and the other 2 are both from In the Yarn Garden, and like I've said before, no idea where that company is, if they're still around. I can't seem to find them, so it's a shame if they aren't around anymore because it's lovely yarn. But can you see? Yeah, it's probably about 1/3 of the size I want it to be, so I'm quite happy with that. Shall we see if we can do a wee try on? There we go. Get it over the shoulder. Ta-da! Yeah. I've got on my new Lucy and Yaks, by the way. My husband bought these for me. Stand up a bit. There we go. My husband bought these for me as a little gift, and I love them. Today's the first day I've put them on, and they're fitting nicely, and they just feel so autumny. I've been waiting for a day that's autumn, and today feels like the day. So that is that. So I shall pop this back in this little bag. Really enjoying this one. I didn't say it's a pattern by Joanne's Grace of the Crochet Project, and it is called the Not So Granny Wrap. And you can find that in the Shawl Project book 5, which is all about lace weight shawls. And I've said before as well, lace weight shawls are great if you're on a yarn budget, because I started that in February, and fair enough, I haven't worked on it tons, but it definitely, for the amount of time needed to create all those teeny stitches, you get a lot of crochet time out of it. So it's one way of looking at it. It's also just so fine. I've never done anything so fine, and so I'm going to pull it back out the bag. It just feels just so loose and airy. I really like it. And so it won't be the last time I'm working with that weight of yarn. I'm really enjoying it. Now let's go crochet, knitting, crochet, knitting. Crochet, knitting, crochet, knitting, crochet. So we're done one crochet. Next, in my new sock bag from Julia, this is a bag from So Yarnalicious, I have some socks. These are my knitted socks, and if I pull out, I have one sock and So I've started them both. What happened was, I was on sock number 1, and can you see there was a join in the yarn, which happens, you know. Personally, I don't just knit those in. I do tend to break it and do my own join. I don't trust it. Plus, it's a little bit rough and ready and messy. So, you know, these things happen. I wasn't bothered about it, but it came just when I'd finished the leg and I was about to start the heel. So I thought, aha, perfect timing. Let's just break the yarn and start sock number 2, which is what I've done. So that means I'll carry on with this one. Hopefully this one won't have a join at the same spot. And I'll carry on with this one. I'll work the heel, I'll work the foot, finish it off, and then I don't have to go all the way back to the start for the second one. I am halfway through. So that'll work out quite nicely. I do like to work socks 2 at a time actually, so I'd kind of regretted not balling this up into 2 different balls, and I tend to just get my kitchen scales, which are electric, and I'll just work it out and get 50 grams on in 2 balls or 2 cakes, and then work on them both. I could maybe do one cuff, the other cuff, one leg, the other leg, and then do both heels and so on. But I had just charged in, because this wool is so lovely. I had charged in, used the wool, and before I knew it, I'd gone from the centre, and oh well, we're doing one at a time. I really need to get some sort of yarn cozy, because can you see there's a big bit, here it is. This all started to get sucked in here, and it was all tangled up to that, and took me a while to sort. So I do need to find a nice little yarn cozy pattern. I know there's quite a lot of them out there, and keep these, especially as it's going in and out my bag. I tend to just do a round or 2 a night, and then it's in the bag and out the bag, and it's getting tangled. So yeah, what else can I tell you about this one? This is, I'll hold up the one that's not attached. This is a pattern from Dana Ray Makes, and I am using beautiful yarn from Otter and Papoose. And this is a little stitch marker that Pamela at Otter and Papoose gave me as well. The colourway is Dragonfly. It's 4-ply yarn. It is your traditional sock yarn, 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. And it's a subtly sort of almost solid, but not quite. And I really like those subtle changes in it. I think this is showing up better than it did the last day. We've got a bit more sunshine today. And I'm really liking how stretchy it is. See, I've got a wee mistake here. There are a few mistakes. There's yarn overs and knitting 2 togethers, and there are a few that I've botched. So, but hey, they're for me. And I think once they're on as well, where's that little hole? Is that it there? Or is it this side? There it is. Once they're on, you're not going to see that. So I'm just going with it. I'm fixing it as best I can. I'm not too bad if I accidentally do a purl instead of a knit. I'm not too bad at kind of laddering it down and fixing that. But when it comes to fixing dropped bits that I've knitted 2 togethers and things, then it's a bit, I'm stuck. So I just make the most of it, and as long as we've got the right stitches at the end, it'll be okay, right? So definitely recommend the pattern and the yarn for that one. So those are my knitted socks. So let's go crochet project, which is right beside my cup of tea. So I'll have a quick slurp of tea. I've got on, look, me and the bear. Hang on, let's see if we can line them up a bit better. There we go. Bear in a knitted yoke jumper. Love it. Just got a cup of red bush tea with soya milk in today. So here's a project that has had quite a bit of love in the last few days. It's something that has been on the podcast quite a few times. Tiny bit of slow progress. Sorry, I'm waiting for a big announcement. I'll see if she's ready. Are you ready for the big announcement? You're gonna just pop up. here is this crochet doll that I have been working on forever. I did the hair yesterday. Isn't it fab? This is the doll that I think the reason I put off working on her was because these are new eyes. But I had done the eyes, and I'd used safety eyes, and I'd put them in about here and here. And they were just far too high. And I think in the last podcast I had 4 options. Either just leave it and forget about it, or make another head, because they were safety eyes. Once they're in, right? Or, I did have the option of, I could have flipped it upside down, unpick the nose and put the nose in here. Does that make sense? That would probably have worked. I decided not to do that. I went with option 4, which was just to put hair over the safety eyes. So there are, hidden in there somewhere. Is that? No. Hidden in there somewhere are the safety eyes. I don't even know if I can feel them. They are just hidden in with the hair, and nobody will ever know. That was a good fix. It saved me having to crochet another head, and I think it worked okay. Ta-da! The hair I have needle felted in. I had great fun with this yesterday. Oh my goodness, you can just go like this. It is just beautiful. Such a squishy texture. So this is all from the book My Crochet Doll by Isabel Cressedian. Here's a few of the pictures on the back. So some of her hair has been needle felted in like this. It was Isabel that gave me the idea for doing this with a doll, and I'll just show you a few of the pictures from inside. So this one's just got a traditional crocheted in here, where you just get a loop and stick it through. It's quite time consuming. The needle felted hair was pretty quick. Here we go. There's some pictures. The photography in it's just lovely. I really, really like this book. So I'm going for something like this one. That is the look I'm going for. So far I have the jeans. I'm not going to do the one with the hat, because I don't think I'll be able to get a hat on that head. I'm probably going to leave the hat, and it'll be something more like this. I don't know if I'll even bother faffing about with stripes on the jumper. I'll see. The colours I've picked for it are yellow for her jumper. So I'm just changing things up a wee bit. I'm going to make a jumper. I'm probably just going to make it solid yellow. And then like that. And then for the wellies, I'm going to use this blue. Quite a nice sunny bright blue, and I really like all these browns and yellows together. Her face did, I'll note this for if I'm doing this again with the needle felted hair. Oh, sorry, my hook got caught. Her face collapsed a little bit here, and I think it's because the needle felting at the back, I don't know if I can even show you. The needle felting at the back has kind of, I guess when the needle went in, it's pulled the stuffing towards the surface, and I think it's just taken away some of the stuffing from here, because it wasn't like that before I did the hair. So I've noted next time to just stuff that head a little bit more. But you know, it's a tiny thing, and I think everyone will be just looking at the hair, which is cool. For the hair, I used a little oddball I had left over from a Tunisian project actually, and it is, oh, look at it if you do that. It is Holst Garn, and it's their Cielo, or Cielo, not quite sure how we say that, Cielo, which is a mix of alpaca, merino and polyamide, and it's so soft, and it's that kind of funny spun yarn. Can you see the fibre? So it worked really well for the hair, and it was a good way of using up, it's about 3/4 of a ball I had left over. The rest of it, I think I've said before, the skin is all, I'm pretty sure it's alpaca. I bought the ball in a charity shop. I bought the trouser yarn in a charity shop. It's from Tiger, and these two are just from my stash with no ball band, and I'm not even sure what they are. I really don't know. It all feels like 4-ply cotton. These are slightly thicker than the trousers, but it'll work. You know, if the jumper ends up a little bit oversized, that'll be okay. And the boots, I can just try them on as I go. The reason I've left these tails is I'm not sure. There is a pattern for the boots here, but there's also shoes and there's other boots, and I'm not quite sure which ones I'm going to do. So I've left the bottom. Yeah, see, here's some other boots. They're slightly different. And I'm going to leave the shoes in the front. Yeah, there they are in the front. So they're slightly different. They're shorter, but there's also a shoe pattern. In here as well. Let's see if I can find that one. And I might just go for that. So I've left the bottoms of the trousers because it will depend on the way that I turn them up. I guess here's some shoes in that one. So there's all sorts of options, so I'll see what kind of shoes I'm going to do, and then if these need a turn up, then obviously I'll sew the tails in on the side that's going to be hidden, which is why I have left that option open for now. I did have to put elastic in the trousers, which I've never done with amigurumi before. So these are actually elasticated, which is quite cool. I like that. Is that all I want to say about this one? I think so. I think I'm going to just charge on the rest of today. Once this is all uploaded and the description's in and everything, I think I'm just going to carry on and get that project finished. And that'll be one ticked off my list, and I'll be chuffed with that. So, crochet knitting. It's just in a boring old jute Asda bag, this one. So it's my sea glass sweater. I'm not going to try it on today. There hasn't been that much progress on it. There has been some, not a terrific amount. If you let me just get it the right way round. So here you are. I've popped this sleeve inside out. I was talking to Sue, who comes to my craft group on a Saturday morning. Now Sue makes a lot of Fair Isle sweaters and ganzis, and because she's done that so often, she knows exactly her sizes and things. So Sue always works as top down, split for the sleeves, which is the same as the way Sue's tops are. And then once she's done the split, Sue always goes into the sleeves, because then, and I see why now, when you're going round and round on the sleeves, you're not heaving this great big jumper round and round, and it is getting heavy. So that is a great tip, if you know that you've got the size and everything that you're happy with. Otherwise, I wouldn't, if I was going back again, and I wouldn't change what I'm doing on this one. I would want the body done so I can see that it fits nicely, because if you've been following me, I started this jumper around this time last year, got into December, and I'd had to frog from before the sleeve split. I had to frog all the way up to here, and I had done down to the waistline. So yeah, so I'm on the sleeves and I have started decreasing, and I've got my little markers in. So yeah, I think the last time I was about here. Yeah, maybe I've done 1 or 2 decreases. Yeah, about here. So I've not done tons on it, but I have done some. I haven't done anything on the other sleeve, but there has been some progress, and it will be finished for this autumn for sure, because I am desperate to wear it. Oh, wouldn't it look good under? That one keeps annoying me today. I haven't quite got the straps the way I want them. It's going to look good under these dungarees. So, knitting, crochet. It's my Battenberg, which has seen a lot of love. I've now got it in my Sealy, show you the right side, my Celia McWillie bag, and it fits it really well because it's growing. I've got little bits and pieces in here for if I'm traveling. I can just grab that bag now and it's good to go, because these squares are great for a travel project. And ta-da! Where are we? So this I've showed you before. We are on this bit. Last time I only had, so this is one side, I only had 1, 2, 3, no, not even 3. 1, 2, 3 to here was done. So all this has been added, which is quite a significant amount, all the way down one side. So it's L shape. We're going like that. We've got this big chunk in the middle. If you just excuse me a minute, I'll cover up my face and stretch back. Big chunk in the middle. And then this, I haven't touched this side, so this bit you have seen before. So, yeah, I got mini squares at the Scottish Yarn Festival and started working with those. Let me see if I've got any here to show you. Oh, yeah, here we go. So this one is from Needle and Thread. I made a mistake actually in my Scottish Yarn Festival podcast. I did stick an update in the description if you looked on that after I realised. But as soon as I started winding this and working with it, I think it was the next day, I realised this isn't 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. This feels more woolly. And I looked, there was no, these were mini skeins and there was no little label on them. So I looked on the photos I'd taken from the Needle and Thread stand, and I realised that this is actually a mix of blue-faced Leicester and Masha. I think it's 80% BFL, 20% Masha. I hope I've got that right this time. So apologies, Needle and Thread. It doesn't matter. I'm going to just treat this blanket as if it is pure wool, because there are some, like this one, this orangey one here is pure wool, and so is this one, pure wool. So there are some pure wool ones in there. So I'm going to just treat it as if it is pure wool. So it won't matter. So there was that one. This one was from Mothy and the Squid. Have we got any more from the festival? This one was from Mothy and the Squid as well. I wanted some browns and greens, and yeah, really happy. I think that's all my festival ones. I've just got a few in there. So yeah, I haven't even touched it in the last few days, but there has been a lot of progress on that in September. I'll be keen to see at the end of the month. I'll count up and see just how much I've progressed since the end of August, because I took a tally then. So I think we've done all my whips, and I had some Happy Mail. Oh, I'll show you my tub of Battenberg squares first. So new ones are these Mothy and the Squid ones. Oh, and more Mothy and the Squid at the end, and a few of the Needle and Thread ones there. So there's only 3 skeins that I've wound up from the festival so far, and I bought 8, I think, so I've only wound up 3. But I do love this box. It brings me such a smile. I just love patting them, counting them, checking they're all still there, adding to them. Yeah, really like this project. I don't know what I'll do when it's finished. I do like a long-term project like this. There's a pattern I haven't, or not a pattern, a project I haven't been showing, and it is a granny square project. It's like a fancy granny square. It's quite detailed in the centre. I'm using 2 different patterns, can't even remember who they're by, and squares are about this size, but that is going to be a big blanket, and I think I'm only about a third of the way through that. So once I finish my Battenberg, I will dig that one out. So Happy Mail was from Lorraine, and she sent me these and these. Now, she was really cheeky. A few weeks ago she asked me which knitting books I had and which ones I would recommend. So I messaged her back and I said sock knitting, specifically sock knitting. I thought, oh wow, Lorraine is keen to give sock knitting a go, and I said the only sock knitting book I have actually is 52 Weeks of Socks by Lane Publishing. But I said there's 2 on my wish list, one of which is this one, the Sock Knitting Bible by Lynn Rowe, and the other one is Colourwork Socks, or Socks Colourwork, Charming Colourwork Socks, I think, is the title, by Charlotte Stone, and she has lots of stranded colourwork sock patterns, a couple of which I have made. I've just bought them as standalone ones on Ravelry, so that book I have my eye on as well. Anyway, Lynn sent me this one. No, Lorraine sent me this one, which is written by Lynn. Too many L's. It's not, actually they're not all by Lynn. Lynn has tech edited it and put it together. There are some, here's a list of the designers at the back. There are patterns by various designers in here, as well as loads of techniques. Right at the start, there's a bit about just basic socks as well. There's a bit about different types of heels, because there's all sorts of heels, there's all sorts of toes, variations on sock recipes. You know, it's a really, it's going to be such a good book to just dive into and get to know better. And there were 2 skeins of yarn, and they are just beautiful, beautiful autumn colours. It's a sock set. There's a stitch marker attached, the little rose coming up there, and the yarn is from Reign of the Roses. Here is their tag, and it is 75% superwashed blue face Leicester and 25% nylon, and it's fingering weight. Feels great, and I will cast these on once I have finished my woodland trail socks. I will cast something on. Probably, I was looking through all the patterns. The patterns, there's like this one. The patterns, there's lots on the back as well. I know Lorraine has bought me the wool specifically for one of the patterns, but they all just look too intricate for the quite variegated yarn. So I think what I'm going to do is follow one of the vanilla sock recipes, and I'll try something a bit different, maybe try a different heel or something, and change things up that way, and just let this yarn shine, because I think if you were to do something more intricate with it, I think it would just be lost. And it is beautiful, beautiful yarn. But rest assured that I will be working my way through the patterns in here. So that was really, really nice, a nice surprise. If you missed my earlier episode, I did meet up with Lorraine in Carnoustie. She's from Wales, and she did a wee tour of Scotland, and we managed to meet up in July, I think it was. I think it was July, late July. It might be in early August, but I think it was late July, and that was really lovely. So a lovely friendship there with someone I found online. So that is cool. And I believe that is all I need to share with you today. I've shown you all my whips, and plans for next week are to carry on with the testing and get the photographs. Hopefully get them back from my eldest, and I'll get that pattern together and out to you. I'm planning to put it up on my blog as a free pattern for the adult medium size. I'll just put that free on my blog, and then if you'd like the other sizes or access to the video tutorials and just video tutorials, yeah, the other sizes and the video tutorials, because I'll do a few tutorials to go with it, then you can upgrade to the paid pattern, which will be on Ravelry and on the website. So that is the way I am going to just try releasing this pattern. So free version will be on its way. So I hope you've all enjoyed catching up with me this afternoon. Leave a comment, let me know if you've been working on something, let me know, and I'd love to see or hear or read been working on, because it's always inspiring. And thank you so much. Bye for now.